Usually my trip is led by a place before I visit. Before Bhutan, I was photographing Tibet, and during the Tibetan trips in a few years, just growing natural interest into Bhutan. And also I heard about idea of a gross national happiness of Bhutan. That interested me very much. Interestingly, Bhutanese people who I first tried my portrait, because of their generally selflessness and unpretentious attitude, it makes my work so easy and looks even spontaneous. It's quite amazing. Sometimes it looks like there's no camera in between us, and that success was largely depend on the people in the Bhutan who was so selfless, I have to say. And that's the one thing I was amazed, because if I stand in front of such a big camera, I want to be looked in a certain way, I care about this and that. That is, it's a difficult thing, you know, I can imagine. And I have been trying myself actually to be not as a model in front of a camera, but as a human beings and as a photographer, to be as clear as possible, as selfless as possible, or just being myself. No more or no less is what I always trying to be, not overly presenting, not overly modest, just to be as I am. I think it's the best way I can live comfortably. But the people in Bhutan seems to be doing so naturally and effortlessly, from a child to a grown-up man, to the very high rank Rinpoche, to a young monk. It's quite interesting. One particular image of a family who lost their wife and mother, the child, the baby, and the father came to that monastery to send her spirits away 1 week after her death. And I did a portrait of the family, and I realized the family was a part of the sacred air of that particular monasteries. Until then, I thought that the monastery has sacred by itself with monks and other people, but when the family was there visiting it and then just being there, their existence was so transparent and then the part of air in the monasteries. And I realized that what that monastery named the Cherry Gompa so sacred was because of such a family or other pilgrims and devotees and come be part of it. And that is, I felt that there was a sense of a sacredness in there. When I heard GNH, gross national happiness, that was amazing concept, because of rest of the country, rest of the world, especially developing countries, and very eager to increase the figure of GNP, gross national productivity, or gross domestic productivities. But instead of that material wealth, they consider that internal wealth is more important than the material or income. And that was a really eye-opening word, phrase. At first I almost thought that was a joke, but that was a serious policy of a country, nation of Bhutan. And after I heard, I did some research in the internet, and that was it. And I have got some report and essay from one of the officials of Bhutan, which is a part of my new book of Sacred Within. But I can see that not only the kings and the high-rank people it's talking about the GNH, but also that rest of the country people, they do believe and they try to use the actual GNH in everyday life. So one of special interest to me, I traveled to many of the countries with very religious and living on the faith people, but this country of Bhutan has a special meaning because that practice is in every part of a daily life. It's not just within a monastery or not in a school, but in their house, in their farm, and that's every part of a daily life that they practice the idea. At least to my viewpoint, where I visited, I met, they do, or at least they try to do that directions. So that was quite impressive, because the country is by no means of wealthy nations in terms of Western measurements, but I see that they are living very much happily and satisfied in many ways. As a matter of fact, I haven't met a single beggar in entire country of Bhutan in my last 6 years experience. During my trips, I usually bring some of the result, which photograph, back to the country, and when I have a chance, I meet them and then show them or give it to them to get some kind of response. So I did a follow-up with several people, monks, family, and that was quite interesting. I showed them the formal portraits of them, the family, a monk, and they enjoyed very much. And that actually gave me some kind of feedback that how I'm going to pursue it for the next step. And in a very fundamental joy of a photography is to take a picture, make a picture, and then show them, give it to them, and then show their happy or surprised expressions, and some kind of communication between photographer and the subject. That was quite interesting, and rediscovering the joy of photography.